Hey, good morning. Good morning. Hope everyone's having a bright, beautiful morning. No matter what the weather, I got my decaf coffee with me. Why do I keep saying decaf? It is caffeinated. Excuse me. My instant coffee. Now, I do have a choice. If I want decaf instant, I do have that. But the one that I've been in love with, it is just so, so good. And it's about, yay, 10 cents a cup. So if you're a first time listener, I say this almost every time. If you're spending over $1 for a cup of coffee, you just spent too much money on coffee. Just saying, just saying. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope that everybody's doing well. I want to talk to you today about what I believe is a growing problem. Yeah. What's this problem? I think people are losing a lot of hope. People are losing a lot of hope for the future. And that makes me personally sad because, to be honest with you, once we give up hope for the future, that's not a good thing. It really is not a good thing. Number one, it leads to people into developing a really not so great habit, and that's living in dread of things. How many of you out there listening might be living in dread of an event or an appointment or a visitor, no matter if it's a relative or a friend, or even not looking forward to checking your mail or even just receiving a phone call? Some of us live in dread of things. We don't even want to walk to our mailbox sometimes in fear that there's going to be some sort of negative information in the mail. Well, take heart and take hope. I'm going to switch this around. That same mailbox that some people are living in dread of might turn out, you might get a communication in there or something that'll make your day. You might get a card from a loved one with a wonderful saying in it, or some other form of positive communication. So let's say that you put hours and hours and hours of dread anticipating negative information inside the mailbox, when at the end of the day, it turned out that you actually got pretty good news. And as each day goes by in the week, you really didn't get any bad news, except, of course, maybe the typical bill or two. But that's something we all pretty much kind of sort of have to live with. But it could be a problem to live in dread of the future. What could we do about it? We could turn it around. I think it's really important to turn around our dialogue, the things we say to ourselves. Just like recently, remember we were talking about, just even yesterday, actually, we were talking about omitting the sentence, I can't afford it. No, swap out that sentence and say, I can't afford it right now. Now, this thing that you may be living in dread of the future, here's the problem with that. Let's say there's a date in mind and you have to do something on a specific date, and it's one of those must things that you have to do. You really can't get out of it type thing. And let's say you know the date of that must thing that you must have to do, okay? Let's say it's the 15th of whenever, whatever that month may be. So are you going to waste the first 2 weeks of that month concerning yourself with dread, like repetitive negative thoughts? Oh, this is not going to work out. Oh, I can't stand this. I can't do this. What a dread. I'm really like, oh my goodness, I'm not looking forward to this. How am I going to handle it? Let me tell you a little bit of a secret. Sometimes the dread, the anticipation, the feeling that people are having, maybe it's sort of like a form of anxiety if you think about it. When people are drowning themselves in thinking about woulda, coulda, shoulda, might happens, possible happens, whatever, then the actual day comes. Ta-da! And the actual thing you're doing might, in fact, in your mind's eye, you're thinking this, let's say, whatever this negative thing that you're telling yourself is so negative, maybe in your mind's eye, you're thinking that thing will last you 90 hours, okay? When this thing that you are actually dreading lasted only minutes. The real problem was the negative anticipation. Now, that could be possibly calculated looking back into 90 hours of, oh, I'm afraid of this. Oh, it's not going to work out. Oh, I'm going to get bad news. No. Wipe that away. Wipe that away. I understand. I totally understand why a lot of people, and including myself, where this has happened, like, oh, I don't want to see this person. Oh, what if they say something and I feel like, saying something back and upsetting the apple cart or whatever, this type of thing. Almost every human being runs into some sort of awkwardness or something that not looking forward to. So now let's say it is the 16th of the month of whatever. That day, you look back and say, why did I sweat it out all those days and weeks worrying about that thing that you were dreading on the 15th of whenever? And now it is something you look back on, and now it is total history. I would love to know how many, without being specific. You don't have to be specific because I really don't want anyone giving up their, privacy on a comment section on a public thread. No. But what I am curious to know is, was there or is there anybody out there that you could actually look back in your own life and say, yes, I absolutely wasted a ton of time. I absolutely had negative thoughts in your head, my head, about whatever situation. And you might have made, as they say, ever hear this expression, making a mountain out of a molehill. Now, a molehill cannot be big, okay? But a mountain can be bigger. And I mentioned this analogy, for example, on a Tea Time show, Tea Tuesday, a while back. Oh, by the way, I hope to get back into doing Tea Tuesdays in a not so distant future. They were a lot of fun. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please head on over to the Life with Patty channel and you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right. The analogy was prior to, let's say, this thing that one is living in dread for, that thing looks like Mount freaking frapping Everest in front of you. Just saying, just saying. Then you get to the thing, it's the actual day, ta-da, showtime, ta-da. Okay, let's say a person dreads public speaking. They dread it. They dread it. But once the public speaking begins, they're in their zone. They're in their zone. But that's not to say that 2 to 3 weeks prior, that person may not be nervous that it's not going to go right, or they're going to freak out or make, a ton of mistakes or whatever. Then the person does the public speaking, right? And then the whole thing is over. It's over. Said and done. Prior to that, it looked like Mount Everest. Driving away, it still looks like a little mountain. The mountain got smaller. As you continue driving down the road, you look back, that mountain is starting to diminish. All of a sudden, what was Mount Everest in your mind's eye is now disappeared, gone. Maybe not forgotten, but gone anyway. And sometimes people have a history of letting it repeat itself and doing that same pattern. Oh, that thing is coming up again. And then the weeks go by, and once again, unfortunately, people, the great big negative buildup, and then it's all over. I don't know. I just think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of physical effort, mental effort. I think it could also potentially be a waste of money. And another thing, when we spend all of our time worrying about woulda, coulda, shoulda, and maybes and what ifs, guess what? We wasted the moment of now. That moment, if you're living in the moment and your mind is living in the present and your head is cleared, you have to force yourself sometimes to clear your own head. I don't care what method you use, like putting on music, for example, is very helpful. Taking a walk, what good, healthy method, whatever good, healthy method that you decide to use to clear your mind and free it up. Give yourself permission. Even if the thing you dread is in 2 weeks on your calendar, say, you know what? On this day, 2 weeks before that dreaded thing, I am not going to waste this day because of woulda, coulda, shoulda, and maybe, and perhaps. No more. You're done with that. You want to stay in the moment. You want to sweep all the cobwebs out of your brain. You want to focus on perhaps a money-making project. How many folks out there throwing money in the garbage can because they're not focusing? The talent is there. The potential is there. But because of spending so much time worrying about the self-created Mount Everest, not talking about or picking on actual Mount Everest, but I'm talking about the mountains we create on our own. Mountains of junky garbage. Let's put it that way. Imagine a garbage dump, a landfill filled up with tons and tons of self thrown out created junk that it even stinks. It's so big, it's so bad, it's so monstrous. But we created it. Then the day actually happens, and all of a sudden it vanished. You survive, and you can't even understand why. You spent those days and weeks living with dread. Try not to do that. Life is too short. Because if we add up all the days we live in dread, thinking of woulda, coulda, shoulda, and maybe, we literally, through those days, in my opinion, out the window. You can never get them back ever again. There you go. Just saying, just saying. In the meantime, if you found value in this video, I so appreciate that you smash down the like button. I truly appreciate as well that you share this video. It's very, very important to get the word out because my goal is to reach at least one person per video. I might do, well, I did do over 1,200 videos, actually more than that, but I erased 400 of those. But there are over 1,200 listed. That means if I reached one person per video, I reached 1,200 people. That's my main goal. But if I reach more than one, I can't tell you how happy that can make me. All right, everybody. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your time. Take good care. Bye-bye.